morning, welcome back to another video of Running with Juan and Edgar. In this video we're going to share 5 tips on running your first half marathon. Juan, you can stop running.
Oh. I thought you needed more shots.
Alright. Tip number 1, trust the process, right Juan? In the beginning when you start running a half marathon might seem like a really big goal, but you got to start somewhere, and that means building your way up. Trust the training plan that you are doing. Perhaps you might not be able to run 13 miles in your first week, but if you are consistent with training, you should be able to run 13 by race day.
Trusting the process was important for me, at least. I had no idea where to even begin. Training for 13 miles, finding a game plan and sticking to it, and just remembering that I had never done this before, so there was no need to put any stress on myself the first couple of weeks. Keeping in mind that it was going to be a gradual thing really helped out in those moments where I felt frustrated that I wasn't getting the times I wanted to get, and just remembering this was my first time, so it was gonna take work to get there.
Let's get going. By the way, we propped up the phone by this really cool bear. Shout out to the bear at Hemisphere Park. Tip number 2, be consistent. Consistency is the most important thing when you're training for a half marathon, because you start missing one day of training, it leads to another, and it turns into a domino effect, and soon enough the race day is right around the corner. So make sure that you're training every single day. Some days will be really challenging, but you just have to fight through those and get up and train and run. Anything to add to that, Juan?
For me, I realized that it's a lie that you get used to training days, but you have to kind of push past that and be ready to be uncomfortable on some days, because it's really easy to fool yourself into saying, oh well, I missed today, it'll be all right, I'll get it tomorrow. And like you said, it snowballs into a lot of missed days, and I'm pretty sure you'll feel it on race days. You'll regret not training on those days. So it sucks more missing training than it does to go through a workout after being tired.
All right, let's get going. Training tip number 3, don't be afraid to ask questions. Go to a local running group, or if you know someone, you have a friend who is into running, go and ask them questions. Figure out what you need to do, learn from their experience, so that way you don't go into it with zero knowledge.
Since this is my first time running for a half marathon, I was blessed enough to have somebody like Edgar who's been through a race like this, who's followed this same training plan that we're doing right now, and knows certain tips and tricks of running that I probably would have had to learn the hard way. So having somebody to follow makes a lot of a difference. We're really good friends, so it didn't take much to get help from him, and it also keeps you accountable for the days when you're training and you know you might not be pushing it as hard as you could, or days that you don't want to run. So holding you accountable is a big advantage to having somebody to follow.
Tip number 4, food is fuel. Try to eat healthy. I know it's really tough with all these fast food places with Whataburger, Los Tacos, and and I'm not saying don't eat any, but if you can avoid eating and limit the amount of that kind of junk food, then do so, because your food that you eat during this training program is the food that's going to fuel you. So you want to have the right kind of fuel to keep you going all the way through your training plan and into the race.
Yeah, Edgar mentioned that he was going to start going pretty much full vegan. I've heard of the benefits that it has, not having any meat in your body as far as time to recover. So I just kind of had to get over myself and stop being one of those vegan haters.
Yeah.
And try it. And so far it's worked out for me. I feel good. I don't feel a lack of energy. I don't feel like I'm hungry. I think it's because even though it might seem like it's less food, it's the right kind of food.
There you go. So how do you feel about that plant-based life now?
I don't know. It's too soon to tell. I'm not saying I'm converting fully.
Tip number 5, don't stand in the middle of the street. You know, tip number 5 is actually...
Plan ahead.
Tip number 5 is actually plan ahead. Running and training for a half marathon is gonna take some time. It's not just gonna happen magically. So plan around your schedule, so that way you make sure you fit in your trainings for every day that you do have training. And be flexible. Don't worry about always training at the same time. I know there was days for us where we were training sometimes in the morning and sometimes in the evening.
Yeah, I think there's people that are a lot more busy than us. Their schedule might not be able to fit a running schedule like ours, as far as running really early in the morning. For us, it worked out the best because
Work schedules.
work schedules. Also, just trying to get the day started with some running, I felt like was a big benefit for us. I know for me, I wouldn't have liked running in the afternoons as much, because when I get a run in the morning, I just would look at, oh, there's a cop.
The cop had to stop and look at what we were doing.
Weirdos. But there was also days where we couldn't run in the morning because it was cutting it too close to me getting to work and Edgar doing what he had to do during the day. So we had to schedule in the afternoons, and we just had to be okay with that. But it was definitely a communication of and planning ahead to letting each other know that we should probably change the running times.
By the way, we were standing in the middle of the street over there, and then slowly we had to like move to the side because more and more cars were coming. See what we do for the videos? That's why you gotta make sure to hit subscribe down below.
Sacrifices.
The sacrifices. All right, let's hope the phone doesn't fall. But we just finished our morning run, and we also finished our 5 tips for you, all before
6 o'clock.
all before 6 o'clock in the morning. Make sure to like this video, subscribe. In 2 weeks, we'll be running the Austin Half Marathon. That's on February 16th. For that race, we're also doing a fundraiser.
Right here?
Right there. That's where the fundraiser link will be. It's a Dream Scholarship Fund. Please donate and share. And we'll see you on the next video. Next week.
I never know how to finish these things.
Yeah, me
I
neither.
don't know what to say.
I nos guachamos. Till next time. Puro 210, San Antos, First Nation. Let's go. Like that?
Like that.
Okay.
I will run, I will rise, I will grow. I will climb to the place I belong. I will fight like the world's never known. Like the world's never known.